Good morning. Welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Wednesday, January the 22nd, and we're here to look at the new releases that have been published this week in the world of romance. Hope you had a good night. Hope you are going to have a good Wednesday. Quick announcements. I don't have any sprints tonight. I don't do them on Wednesday night, but we'll have them tomorrow night though. As usual at 8 p.m. Eastern, and they go for 2.5 hours. Shall we jump in? Brewing Up a Bad Boy by Catherine Garbera, third in the Wicked Sisters. A tea shop owner, good girl, and a reformed microbrewer, bad boy, reunite in this wonderfully wicked love story. Sometimes the second sip is sweetest. In the cozy town of Birch Lake, tea shop owner Poppy Kitchener thought she'd left her mistakes and her failed marriage in the past. But when her ex-husband, Alistair Miller, turns up as charming and irritatingly handsome as ever, those old feelings float to the surface. To top it off, he has a puzzling proposition. Pretend they're still married for his cousin's wedding in exchange for a lucrative business deal with his family. Easy enough, right? After all, this could be Poppy's last chance to get closure, grow her business, and use Alistair's knowledge of microbrewing to help her finish that winning recipe for the tea competition. But even after all this time, he still knows how to make her laugh. And he's changed in ways that make Poppy wonder about the man he's become. Can she trust this new Alistair with her heart, or will a second chance brew up disaster? From showing up to glowing up, the characters in Afterglow books are blah, blah, blah. Earl Crush by Alexandra Vasti. Good morning, Elena. How you doing? You are good. Okay, I am good. Glad to hear that. I am also good. For 3 years, Wallflower heiress Lydia Hope Wallace has anonymously penned seditious pamphlets, and for almost as long she's corresponded with the reclusive Earl of Strathrannoch. When Arthur's latest letter reveals his dire financial straits, Lydia sets out for Scotland to offer him the only salvation she can think of, a marriage, a convenience to herself. But the real Earl has no idea who she is. When a bewitching stranger offers him her hand in marriage, Arthur Baird is stunned. And when he learns that his traitorous brother has been writing to her under Arthur's name, he's bloody furious. He's content to live alone in his moldering castle, and he has no desire for a radical wife. Or at least he shouldn't. But Arthur is desperate to track down his brother, who's become dangerously entangled in British espionage, and he needs Lydia's help. What he doesn't need, the attraction that burns hotter each moment they spend together. As Lydia slips past his defenses and his brother's mysterious past becomes a very present threat, Arthur will have to risk everything to keep her safe, even his heart. Give Me Butterflies by Gillian Meadows. First in the Oaks Sisters series. Hang on. Need a dram of coffee. Millie has never taken the expected path. Her childhood love for bugs and science led her to entomology and her role as a curator, inspiring museum visitors every day. It's her dream to run her own department. So when a rare director position opens, she is determined nothing will distract her from her goal, especially not Finn, her grumpy. Why is there always starting? Finn's like a hot and coming name or something, because it seems like there's a lot of Finns out there. Her grumpy coworker with his permanent scowl, electric blue eyes, an endless supply of astronomic ties. Not that she's spent time noticing any of those things. Finn doesn't mean to glare at everyone, but he's juggling his role at the museum, navigating the grief of losing his sister, attempting to make his nieces smile, and trying not to ruin dinner for the 5th night in a row. He can't afford to let anything slip and certainly doesn't need more to deal with, especially not Millie literally stumbling into him with her bright smile and sunny optimism. He bugs her. She's too starry-eyed for him. They want nothing to do with each other. But with Finn on the interview committee, avoidance is impossible, and Millie soon realizes it's one thing when a job is on the line, it's quite another when it's her heart. Love on Paper by Danielle Parker. Macy Descanso is a writer. Who cares if her best-selling author mother pulled some strings to get her into a prestigious writing retreat? Macy belongs here. Even when the coordinators unexpectedly announced that this year's theme is romance, Macy, a total cynic, is up for the challenge. But she's not prepared for her critique partner to be fellow publishing Nepo baby Caleb Bernard. While Caleb may be what most romance writers would describe as swoony, he's off limits because the Descansos and Bernards have beef. With a chance at publication at their fingertips, though, Macy and Caleb have to put aside their issues. But it's 4 weeks enough time to fight through writer's block, step out of their parents' shadows, and find the courage to create their own love story? End of row one. The Rival by Emma Lord. At long last, Sadie has vanquished her lifelong academic rival, her irritatingly charming, whip-smart next-door neighbor Seb, by getting the coveted only spot into her dream college, or at least so she thinks. When Seb is unexpectedly pulled off the waitlist and admitted, Sadie has to compete with him all over again, this time to get a spot on the school's famous zine. Now, not only is she dealing with the mayhem of the lovable, chaotic family she hid her writing talents from, as well as her own self-doubt, but she has to come to terms with some less than resentful feelings for Seb that are popping up along the way. But the longer they compete, the more Sadie and Seb notice flaws in the school's system that are much bigger than any competition between them. Somehow, the two of them have to band together, even as they're trying to crush each other, only to discover they may have met their match in more ways than one. Elizabeth Rose has a new one, Ladybird, Below the Salt, book number 9. They were meant to be together, but cannot be apart. The Thief Taker. Thief Taker Hunter Chase wants nothing more than to rid himself of the demons in his head regarding his dark and difficult past. Now, as guardian of his unruly 13-year-old nephew, he finds his problems quickly mounting. He's never been a father and doesn't know how to keep the boy from going down the wrong path like he did. What he needs is a woman's guiding touch. Unfortunately, the type of women he meets through his line of work are anything but a good example. Then a mysterious woman arrives at his door one day, wanting to hire him to track down a thief that is thought to be inside the walls of Shrewsbury Castle. With ties to the castle, Hunter doesn't want the job. It will only remind him of his past. However, it is hard to say no when the woman at his door is beautiful, smart, and highly spirited. He quickly finds himself intrigued and attracted to her and also accepting the job. 13-year-old boy at that time is pretty much considered an adult and would be having a job. It's just the time period. The Falconer. Lady Regina Blake's birds of prey have always been of the utmost importance to her. She's pushed aside any thoughts of a noble marriage, not wanting to be naught but a mere convenience to assure an alliance that holds no love. Delving into her training with her birds of prey, she's thankfully managed to avoid a betrothal of any kind. But when a thief infiltrates the castle walls, her father and brother decide to bring in a common thief taker to catch him. Hunter Chase will be in disguise and working with her in the Mews. She hates the idea until she realizes Hunter isn't haughty and pompous like most noblemen. Instead, he is caring, handsome, and funny. This commoner can make her smile like no man ever could. Regina foolishly lets down her guard since he is no threat to her future, or so she thinks, until she realizes she is quickly falling in love. Will a common man with dark secrets find happiness with a woman who is master over birds of prey? And can a forbidden love overcome all obstacles and spread its wings in flight? Uh, did we jump down? What did we do? We did. We accidentally jumped down. Sorry about that. Well, let's just go zigzaggy. Zoe Brennan, First Crush. By Lori Piper Lee. Zoe Brennan may be the loneliest lesbian in Blue Ridge, but at least she has her family vineyard to keep her busy. When a prestigious wine festival announces it's coming to town, it kicks off a battle royale among loyal vineyards vying for the opportunity to host it. Zoe's in it to win it. Being chosen would put Bluebell Vineyards on the map, and she could stick it to the vineyard next door, run by her ex-best friend, now enemy, Rachel. But when Zoe's father is called home to Italy to care for his sick mother, Bluebell is left without a vintner. Dejected, Zoe impulsively agrees to a blindfolded threesome with a friend and, excitedly, a stranger. But once the blindfolds come off, Zoe realizes the hot butch that rocked her world isn't a stranger at all. It's Lane Woods, Zoe's first crush, Rachel's big sister, and Zoe is horrified to discover the Napa-trained vintner Zoe's dad just hired as his replacement. While they try to ignore their sizzling chemistry, Lane's snobbery and Zoe's pride collide at every step, creating a generous pour of professional and sexual tension. Collaborating is the only way to win the festival, but when that means late nights under the stars and letting go of the past, Zoe must be careful, or Lane might crush her heart for good. My Inconvenient Duke by Loretta Chase, third in the Difficult Dukes series. Of all the dukes in all the world, why does it have to be him? Lady Alice Ancaster needs a husband, and fast, because her reckless brother is going to get himself killed, leaving the dukedom and her future in the repellent cousin's clutches. The Duke of Blackwood has known Alice since childhood, and they've always had a special connection, but years ago he broke it when he chose a riotous life with his two best friends, instead of a reasonable one with her. The trouble is, the tall, dark, sardonic rogue keeps turning up exactly when needed and ready, though he sometimes needs a push to play the hero, if only as long as it takes. Being irresistibly drawn to the wrong man is not convenient, but when events come to a crisis, Alice has to make a choice. The question is, can she live with it? Jill Shalvis has a new one. I did check. It is new. Better Than Friends, 7th in the Sunrise Cove series. When Olive Porter's off-the-grid parents go missing, she reluctantly seeks out Noah Turner, her ex, and the only person she both trusts implicitly and not at all. As a special investigative agent for the National Park Service, Noah's used to living under intense pressure, or he was until he got injured on the job. Now unhappily recuperating at home while being smothered by his loving but nosy family, he'd love nothing more than a good distraction. So when Olive shows up looking like $1,000,000, he has to do a gut and heart check, because nope, no matter what, he can't fall for her again, the woman who once blew up his entire life and has never looked back. How ironic, then, that his own personal hell, Olive, is also his ticket out of town. The question is, will the risk be worth the reward? That's a pretty cover. End of that row. B is for Bonnet, second in the Amish ABCs by Shelley Shepherd Gray. Raised by their divorced, lapsed Amish father and English mother, siblings Johnny, Martin, Kelsey, and Beth can't wait to reinvent their lives. The four don't have much in common, but they long for the stable sense of family they felt when visiting their New Order grandparents Josiah and Sylvia Schrock in peaceful Holmes County, Ohio. And the Schrocks couldn't be more surprised when the grandkids want to try living with them and joining their faith. When Johnny hears startling news about his health, he knows it's past time to change his life. Quitting college, he unexpectedly finds the fulfilling job of his dreams, and he's instantly smitten with cafe owner Treva Kramer, if I pronounced that wrong, I'm sorry, whose baked goods are as warm and delicious as her lively personality. But no matter how hard Johnny tries, he can't seem to get past her secret sadness and distrust. Can he prove that his feelings for her are as real and forever in time? A bad breakup left Treva heartbroken and resolved to be independent without relying on anyone ever again. Exhausted from pouring everything she's got into her cafe, she's stunned by Johnny's easygoing ways and drawn to his optimistic nature. But when she thinks his real interest is in becoming Amish, she's even more determined to stay focused and keep her heart safe. Soon, deep secrets and hidden family truths will test Johnny and Treva in unexpected ways, and with help from his warm-hearted grandparents, he and Treva will gain the happiness they secretly long for with each other. B is for Bonnet. We did Ladybird. Break Free by Darcy Burke, 6th in the Ribbon Ridge series. Denver real estate mogul Liam Archer has always been a thrill seeker, and the loss of identical twin brother has only intensified his reckless behavior. Skydiving, heli-skiing, motorcycle riding, he's tried everything once, except falling in love. Liam doesn't do relationships, but a no-strings fling with Aubrey Tallinger, the smart, gorgeous lawyer handling his brother's estate, is totally his speed. At first, hooking up with Liam whenever he's in Ribbon Ridge is perfect, but Aubrey fears she could fall hard for the sexy daredevil if he'd only stop refusing to acknowledge the demons he's trying to outrun. To protect herself from heartbreak, Aubrey ends their affair, but this time Liam isn't leaving town, and instead of seduction, he wants to be friends. The white-hot attraction between them still sizzles, but Liam knows that winning Aubrey back won't happen in his bed. He'll have to convince her that he's more than the careless adrenaline junkie she believes him to be. Because when they kiss, Liam feels whole again, and he isn't ready to give her up without a fight. Janet Daly has a new one, and I did check. This is new. Lie for a Million, Rivalries, Book 2. Lila Culhane's life is in turmoil, as if coping with the murder of her husband isn't enough. Now the glamorous young widow has Frank's even younger mistress to contend with, his pregnant mistress, Crystal. But Lila hasn't got time for more heartache, with everyone grasping to profit from Frank's death, including fighting for possession of her beloved ranch. She needs leverage for the battle. As it turns out, Crystal may be carrying just the edge Lila requires, an heir. Crystal offers to let Lila adopt Frank's baby for a price. Lila is willing to consider it, pending a paternity test. Until then, she'll focus on her role in the upcoming high-stakes Run for a Million reining competition and her ranch manager and lover, Roper McKenna. Rugged, hardworking, and talented Roper is finally getting his dream to ride in the prize competition. Lila expects he'll choose the Culhane's legendary stallion 1 in a Million as his mount, but when he considers other offers, she finds herself questioning his loyalty. Meanwhile, Detective Sam Rafferty's list of suspects in Frank's murder is growing. Besides Roper and Lila, Frank's bitter first wife and his sparring extended family, there are adversarial neighbors, ex-lovers, and perhaps even the woman Sam loves, Frank's own pampered daughter, Jasmine. And as the surprises multiply, a killer remains free to strike again, even if these rivals don't kill each other first. I don't know, there's just like icky feelings. This is supposed to be romance, but there's a lot of ick. End of that row. It's probably fine, but it just comes across it as icky. It says it's a novella. How many pages? 154? All right, fine. Loving the Blacksmith. 7th in the Noble Norseman series by Virginie Marcanato. Magnus and Agnes meet cute. After a series of unhappy relationships and disappointments, Magnus, the blacksmith, feels he deserves the woman of his dreams. When Agnes is offered a chance to flee the marriage arranged by her father, she doesn't hesitate. It will not take her long to see that the men of the Norseman village are nothing like the ones she is used to, but none more so than the handsome blacksmith who offers her shelter. Really? You couldn't come up with different names? Magnus and Agnes? Oh. I know, I'm being snarky. Made to Love You by Nan Reinhardt, 4th in the Walkers of River's Edge series by Nan Reinhardt. Gorgeous and gifted, Annabelle Walker is a force of nature, a talented architect who has brought new designs and concepts to her family's construction firm. Anna's happy and doesn't feel anything's missing from her life, even as her siblings have fallen in love this year. All have fallen in love this year. And then she finds an injured puppy on a bike ride. Veterinarian Sawyer Braxton is lost while driving to his first day at Price Veterinary Clinic. He stops to ask directions of a bicyclist on the side of the road and discovers 3 things. She's beautiful, stranded with a flat tire, and holding an injured puppy. Sawyer's fascinated, and it feels like fate as he offers the intriguing and vibrant woman a ride to the vet clinic. It's a meet cute, and Annabelle's definitely attractive, but she's determined that this time she really will take a break from men. Sawyer's as stubborn as he is sexy, and he hits on a plan for a date. They'll both foster the pup while it heals. using a puppy. Serial Burn by Lynette Eason, part of book 3 in the Lake City Heroes. Now the fire marshal of Lake City, Jesslyn McCormick, is determined to find the person who started the fire that robbed her of her family when she was just 7 years old. As the 20th anniversary of the tragedy approaches, a string of fires, including at Jesslyn's church, brings up all those old feelings and offers new evidence. Because church fires are considered a hate crime, FBI Special Agent Nathan Carlisle is called in to work with local law enforcement. Nathan has his own past, one he'd prefer not to revisit, and focusing on helping Jesslyn track down the arsonist is a great distraction. As both the case and the chemistry between Jesslyn and Nathan heat up, memories will come flooding in from the past to bump up against hopes for the future. And when Jesslyn comes face to face with her worst nightmare, she'll have to confront her fears and rely on Nathan and her community of friends in order to survive. And that is the end of our romance books for this week. Just in time. Maybe there's something in there that you'd like to check out further. Maybe you are marked safe from having to buy new books from this batch. But you don't know what's out there until you look at what's out there. So that's the service that we provide. This is good news in a morning. So again, I don't have any sprints tonight. I don't do them on Wednesday night. We will have them tomorrow night, though, at 8 p.m. Eastern, and they go for 2.5 hours. I do every Tuesday and Thursday evenings and Saturday afternoon at 3. Tomorrow we'll be looking at fantasy and science fiction. I have no idea if there's a third book in a much beloved fantasy series that's been released this week that people are probably already halfway through, but we'll look at it tomorrow. Stay warm, stay safe, have a good day, and Elena says, see you tomorrow. All righty, you have a good day, sweetie. Oh, thank you, you too. And as the banner says, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom, nom. Have a good day and God bless. Thank you, Elena, for sticking it out.